All right. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Bison, aka Bison Trades, over on Twitter. And welcome back to another episode of RareFUD Radio, episode number 40. We are in 40 deep, boys. It is a wild time. We have been building through the bear, and goodness gracious, it feels like things are just starting to come alive in epic proportions. We'll be talking about it all today. We'll certainly be talking about Bonk because how could you not have a Solana show and not talk about Bonk? Let's talk about some of the run-ups we've seen in some of the NFTs. Let's talk about some alpha for you guys. We cannot stop talking about alpha because the market is moving so much. So without further ado, let's get into today's show. Joining me as always is my wonderful co-host Dorian. Dor, how you doing today, man?
Yo, dog, every day is a holiday and it is Thanksgiving because your boys are eating. It's a complete buffet out there, man, and I can't get enough.
That's dude, you are not lying. It is ridiculous. I can't stop. I literally have never seen the market clearer, and I don't know if it's because we're at least going up again, and I'm much better when we're going up again than when we're
Yeah,
heading towards the penultimate bear. So,
yeah.
yeah, man, it does feel like Thanksgiving, and I'm really thankful for our other co-host Joe as well. Joe, how you doing today, man?
Hey guys, I'm doing very well, very well. Thankful, blessed, feeling good, man. Bones got me bonked. You feel me?
Yo,
Bro,
Bonk's got me bonked, dog, so I feel you, man.
it's been so good, dude. I mean, we can go right into bonk because it's all anybody can talk about right now. We
I
are
know.
looking at $72 million in volume. We are now looking at a fully diluted market cap of about 320 million. Um, this is bananas. I mean, this is straight like out of you couldn't even think that this was going to happen. And we were one of the first ones to come on publicly and say like bonk is coming. You should be buying bonk. Don't think it's
Mhm,
just a meme coin. Because it's getting adopted, man. Like it people are minting in bonk, people are building around bonk. Like
mhm,
this is I and the crazy thing to me is that this is Dogecoin, so it has all the memes and stuff of Doge and the good community sentiment. It was distributed fairly to NFT participants, people that are still around in the Solana
mhm,
ecosystem or still had holdings. It was distributed to developers and artists, and then you have your early contributors as well, but they're on a vesting schedule, so at least they're locked up for like the next 3 years, and they'll slowly be released their supply that they're each allocated. So but you can build around it, and it's on Solana, which is one of the easiest platforms to build
mhm.
around, to launch on to everything. It's just one of the best blockchains, and that's why we have the show around it. So, um, guys, let's talk a little bit about NFT volume first, and then we'll get into how we're feeling about the market. We're sitting at about 500K Solana volume across Magic Eden, Coral Cube, Hades Swap, Tensor, Hyperspace, and Exchange Art. So, oh my goodness. We're about to see a ton of volume on Exchange Art too. We'll talk about that in a little bit as well with the 6 auctions that are up. But guys, how are we feeling about the market right now? I want to kick it over to Dor first and then Joe. Dor, what's going on right now?
Yo, dog, your boy's bonked up. That's all I got. I've been bonking consistently for the past several days. And, dude, I think I'm kind of bonked out for right now, dude. It's just like, honestly, it's kind of euphoric. I think bonk has probably been one of my most successful trades, man. It's like I made pretty good grip, dog. Made well over 800 soul, and I'm feeling myself right now. So now I'm looking for a bag to rotate some of that liquidity to in NFTs, man. But like, I'm not trading this part. I think the bonk charts are on hard mode right now, so I'm not like touching it. Like bonk was on easy mode when it was going parabolic, and I know in this type of trading environment for bonk, this is like more cutthroat. So you and Joe will probably be way more successful than I will. But yeah, dude, I'm feeling amazing, man.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like it does feel it's a lot more choppy. So, if you were the up only maxi where you were just like absolutely aping in at whatever price
Mhm.
level you basically woke up and it just went up another like 20%
Yeah,
minimum. So,
yeah,
and that's on like the very conservative side. Most of the time I woke up and it was worth 2x what I
yeah.
fell asleep
Yep.
with. So,
You go to sleep
um
and you get a 2x overnight. It was great.
and that's off of like, compounding stuff. So, you know, I notoriously papered 6 billion bonk right when we hit like 3 sat cents or something like that. But I saw it
Same,
run up
dude.
and pull back to 7, and that's where I bought like a huge bag, like a massive bag. I just bought a ton, and
Yeah.
just I mean, I cannot. This has brought so much liquidity, not only into my wallet, but I know so many others, especially Sam followers. Like if Shake again, I cannot thank Shake enough for like helping stoke my conviction because I knew it was going to go up. But he was the one that was just like banging on the drum saying like, you guys are underestimating how much this will go up. And he said it like clear conviction from the beginning. And dude, I hats off to Shake, hats off to Cyber
Yeah, dog.
Samurai. We cooked on this
Yeah,
in the
dog.
dojo. We were all in on this trade. So
Yeah, dude,
yeah,
it was insane because like I sold around the same time you did, and I'm like, man, I'm like, this thing has way more momentum than this, dude. I dumped like several hundred soul in it. I'm like, and it was the top, dude. I'm like, this is probably going to be like wipe me out or like make me like it set me up. And dude, did it set me up?
yeah. I was nervous about it. I was like, okay, really all I'm trying to go for is like a 2-3x. And I just saw the velocity it had and I was like,
Yep, I'm riding it out.
This is gonna be one of those coins, isn't it? And I was expecting like a 10x from there, and it went nuclear. I mean, it went 50x from my full exit yesterday. So I now have more. The reason I full exited, guys, and just to give a full disclaimer, I do have bonk again. We'll talk a little bit about where I got the bonk from, but it was also delayed airdrop. So we'll talk about that in a second. We'll talk about how to find alpha in this market, maybe play around the bonk narrative. But I want to kick it over to Joe first, because Joe, I know you've also absolutely cooked on this. We all have. We have all on RareFUD. This is probably my best soul trading week, and I never thought I would eclipse my Ute trading week, but this has absolutely just destroyed it.
Mouse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Jupiter shouldn't have set up those limit orders because your boy's eating. It's too easy. It's too easy, man. These ranges are just too easy. And dude, I just looked at it. I pulled 10K USDC profit. I still got like 6K worth of bonk chilling in the wallet. And yeah, bro, I'm just not with these set limit orders, man. I'm just really playing these fib levels, honestly, and just trusting the lines. And so far, they're working. And to be honest with you, it's just one of those things where if you haven't traded before in a market like this, you're not going to do well. You might throw stuff at the wall and you hit the first one, but jumping back in and out is not easy. But setting limit orders is a lot more proficient, and you kind of are able to protect yourself a little bit more. But yeah, man, this thing's crazy. But honestly, it's great, right? Like everyone's looking to buy back into projects, supporting builders, maybe supporting some royalties because they got an extra little change in their pocket. Amongst anything, it's bringing people together. I don't think I've heard a space where people have been negative in a minute. You know what I'm saying? Like it's really been like kind of like not kumbaya, but like at least it's been like positivity and you know talking about the good things that projects are doing and building and I don't know. It's been a nice breath of fresh air for guys like us that have been here for a long time through the deep dark days of people thinking that we're dead, right, as an ecosystem. So I don't know, it's nice, and I don't think we're done yet. Regardless of price action on bonk, I think Solana ecosystem's getting a little stamp of approval here, right? Like you're seeing they can handle volume like this for an SPL. They're starting. Wow, this infrastructure. Wait, it hasn't died in a while. Wait, TPS. Wait, USDC's down for Ethereum. I mean, USDT's down for Ethereum. Like all these things on Coinbase are popping up for Ethereum, and it's just funny to see, right? That slowly changing of the paradigm. So I mean, this is very bullish. I think it's bringing a lot of eyes from Reddit and Telegram groups that normally don't dabble, right? Forex traders. All this is coming to Solana, all this volume. That's where that 72 million is coming from. So yeah, I'm excited about it.
Yeah, dude. I mean, Joe, you hit the nail on the head there, because I cannot stress enough that this adds so much validity to our network. And I think you're right. Like this could not have come at a better time. It shows, dude, our network, which is getting Fire Dancer eventually. And once that happens, like it's game over. Like we are the best blockchain. Like I can definitively say that from multiple different angles. You want to come at me with Satoshi coefficient or the Nakamoto coefficient, where we're talking about decentralization? Solana's got it compared to a lot of L1s. You want to talk about TPS? we're about to blow the socks off of everybody, and it will be real TPS, not theoretical TPS. Like, we have fixed a ton of problems, and even more fixes are coming to where we now have the ability to scale, and it's going to be crazy. So, I'm just so excited for the future. I think Bonk has not only done that for Solana and added a ton of validity, but it's also helped a lot of projects get some space to breathe between them and the audience, because like a lot of consumers right now, they're still, I mean, Solana's up 40-50% from its lows, but still at $13, and a lot of people are still feeling like, man, my bags are a little heavy. Well, if you get a Bonk airdrop, everything just completely wiped off the board. Like, I can tell you right now, some of the stuff I held was like, man, it just paid off 10x of what I paid for it in the bear. So I feel like a lot of like people are just really relieved to have had this airdrop, to get some distance between them and the consumers, in terms of the consumers are happy. They got a free airdrop that is worth, thousands of dollars. In some cases, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, no matter. It depends on how much you had of the NFT. But like, this is huge. This is huge for a lot of people, and it's adding liquidity back into the market. We're seeing a ton of volume. It's beautiful to see. It's beautiful to see.
Yeah, Joe, sorry, Bison, dude, I completely agree with you, man. A couple weeks ago, you were talking about how one of the weakest parts of Solana was our DeFi ecosystem. But what Bonk did is not only revitalize NFT, but like the entire chain, man. It's like this brings way more validity back to Solana DeFi than it has been in the past, to show that, Solana DeFi can handle volume and won't collapse under a lot of pressure. So yeah, man, this makes me bullish on the future of the chain. And going back to like how Bonk has helped the NFT side of things, dude, it's a lot of these project founders get constant pressure from holders. When floor price go up, when floor price go up, when floor price go up. However, it's like what Bonk did was not only make the floor price go up, but also pay holders back for holding that NFT through Bonk, and floor price go up, which is like double whammy. So you're like, if you got into one of these projects that received the Bonk airdrop, dude, you are eating. And for somebody who got into Cyber Samurai, who has well over 60 Cyber Samurai, dog, I've been eating. Like, not only did I gain a huge increase from when I purchased them up until now, I got that Bonk airdrop and the Cyber Samurai floor prices up. So, dude, I'm feeling hella good.
Yeah, for sure, man. And one of the things that I've seen lately is like people will post a chart and be like, this isn't sustainable. And one, you have to understand a meme coin is like, don't try to make sense of it. Two, you also have to understand this was fairly distributed. We have not seen fair distribution to like everyday retail users like us that aren't institutional investors, where they got in at like this pre-IDO round, where you got to see like they got in at a heavy discount. And then once it goes live, it's 10x from there. And then it 10x's from there. So they got 100x. We got to be the early seed investors, essentially, who got this airdropped. And so when you're looking at it, look at it from that lens. Like, we are the seed investors. This is the chart they see on successful tokens, and we got in. Like, this is beautiful to see. I love it. I hope that people can look at this and be like, man, that's a really good model for success. If I'm trying to make a viable project. And I think Bonk, like, for as memey as it is, there's viability to it. And it's fun. It was fair distribution. It's bringing liquidity back to the system. Like, it's serving its purpose.
Yeah, dude. I do want to. I agree with you, and I do want to hit on the point that you said about I think you briefly mentioned, like, people were saying, "Oh, this thing is going to dump" or whatnot. There was a lot of people out there trying to look at Bonk logically, and with something like Bonk, you can't look at it logically because it shouldn't be logical why it's pumping. I learned my lesson with that in Dogecoin. Like, people just constantly faded it. It's going to dump. It's going to dump, dude. We all understand it's going to dump. At some point, everything after it pumps is going to dump. And the harder it pumps, the harder it's going to dump. That's not the issue. The point is, can you capitalize off this momentum and gain those pumps and get out before it dumps? So it's like you sitting here continuously fading things on the way up. That's a weird flex. Understand what understand what's going on, ride that momentum and capitalize off on it and get out before everything starts to fall apart.
Yeah, And that's what we did. Like, we took profits on the way up. That's why we said it is okay to take 10% of your holdings and just like find your take profit points and just like keep getting stuff off the table. And I didn't sell the Pico top. I'm not here to gloat like, oh man, I sold like 470 or something like that. No,
Yeah.
I actually sold it like 380 last night, but I'm like, that's fine with me, dude. This was all free house money. So, and I knew I was getting more from some of these delayed airdrops. But Joe, I know like this is a trader's dream here. I keep looking at it and it's just playing out. I mean, it's choppy right now, so it's not nearly as easy. But if you know good trading principles, like I'm having fun trading this right now and looking at charts and just seeing the price action of it. What are you doing here? Like, are you actively trading? Are you kind of like, hey, I got in at a really good entry, I'm going to make more of a swing trade here versus a scalp? What are you trying to do here?
Yo, man, sorry about that. Rephrase that question one more time. Sorry.
Yeah, you're good. I'm asking, are you trying to like scalp or swing trade bonk here?
Yeah. Sorry about that. I wasn't sure if it was solar bonk, but yeah, for bonk right now, there was a 1.3 billion airdrop that I had gotten in one of my wallets that I did not touch. So in my head, I'm like, okay, I'm in the green. Anything over that 1.3 has been what I've added and have scalped technically. So at the moment, I'm really looking to scalp this, getting in on the panic wicks at the moment because I know this isn't done yet. I still think this is my reasoning. Everyone's trying to front run and say leverage is bad, shorts will build, it'll go to zero. It does happen all the time with these meme tokens. It does. But what people are forgetting is these marketplaces want premium and fees first. In order for that, they need price to go up. So what happens is they back that price go up, right? And they get them premiums and fees, and then they allow the shorts to build, the market and retail investors that come in and put all their money in leverage and get all euphoric and FOMO kick in. So that's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for FOMO euphoric on Bybit, on these leverages. Then I'll dump onto that liquidity, people looking to pay premiums on these exchanges for leverage costs. And yeah, that's what I'm looking for. So that's why I think we still have some legs on that airdrop. I'm kind of swing trading. But yeah, for scalping wise, I have strict lines right now that I am getting in and getting out at with set limit orders on Jupiter.
Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you. I like, again, I'm getting more airdrops from different collections.
Yep.
We can talk about that in a second, but for me, I'm kind of just like looking to see. Really, I was hoping Binance would list it before some of these leverage platforms because leverage brings chop, and Joe, like we like seeing more traded. Like they're more concerned about volume than they are about price because the more volume there is, the more chop there is, the more liquidations and all that good stuff. They get to take other sides of it versus a spot exchange like Binance before they release futures. They're looking to allocate their treasury in order to make sure they can cover anything and they can offer something like a coin like Bonk. So I was kind of hoping to see a major spot exchange like Binance. I guess Binance does have futures and perps and stuff like that, but I would imagine they release spot first and then go into more of the futures and perps there. It's kind of what I was hoping for. Bybit did announce it. Mexi is trading it right now. So those are both derivative platforms. I'm curious to see, and ever since those were listed, we've pretty much seen a lot more chop. And I think that's one of the things that, if you're not an experienced trader, this isn't like I go ahead and play around with the chart, but I wouldn't play around with making entries or anything like that until you start seeing price action. So my, not financial advice, we always say this on the show. It is not financial advice. Nothing we say on the show is, but this is a very easy time to get wrecked if you aren't playing safely and carefully. So yeah, this has been fun, dude. I love Bonk. And I think with all this chop and the fact that it's not so easy to play with the trade right now, I think a lot of people will return to what they know. They'll take that bag, that liquidity bag, and what do they know? Most of the people that got these know Solana NFTs. So let's look at some trades. Let's look at some alpha and talk about some of the stuff. Now, before we get into it, if you guys do have any lilies or lotus or anything like that staked or planted, as they call it, on their site, you can actually claim the bonk that was airdropped to the staking wallet on the staking website. It's over in the top left corner. It'll have claim bonk, and then it'll say however much you're owed. I got like 700 million from it, so definitely check out the staking website if you do have anything planted. Liberty Square and Ovals, still waiting on those airdrops. Once I get those, that is really good news for me. But yeah, those haven't been airdropped yet. And I don't even know if Elixir, and correct me if I'm wrong, was on the original list of NFTs that were getting airdropped. I think they were just in negotiations with them at the time, and that's why it's delayed. Does anybody know the answer to that?
Yeah, I don't know, dog.
I'm wondering if Joe does, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that information was divulged, but they said that the airdrop is coming. Just be careful with
I'm
it.
not sure if they were on the list, but I do have the like actual information and snapshot date of OVOs. I think I'm trying to make sure it's premium, but I do know we're getting 53 million bonk per OVO, and I'm trying to figure out snapshot date now. I'll update us.
Sweet. That's another $250 million bonk, boys. Let's go.
Yo. So there's a lot of game theory that's behind these like pending drops. Like I know Lotus, you had to stake by Christmas to get it, but other projects are just sending out the bonk to the holders who have them now. So like you can decide to sell into the pre-bonk drop pump in hopes of getting out of your position with a obviously at a higher price, because after that bonk is dropped, I would think we're going to see a pullback amongst all these collections that are waiting on the drop. But if you do sell out prior to that bonk drop, you're betting that bonk is going to be at a lower price than it is today, which in my opinion, I think is a good bet. I don't think bonk is going to hit a new all-time high in the near future. It could, but I just think it's a lot more risk involved.
Yeah. I just think of it as like, if you are buying bonk right now, you're doing the scalp and swing trading, because the amount of effort you'll have to go through and the amount of sweat you will get, like just absolutely pouring out of your pores, in order to get a 2x, 3x from these levels, is going to be a lot more monumental than when we originally started, when we were originally calling it going into Christmas and then after Christmas. So be safe. Like, I cannot stress that enough. Make sure that you're looking after collections that haven't been airdropped yet. If you got in at an early date with ovals, it may not be a terrible time to sell into a pump, unless you think that airdrop is going to be worth more than the decline in the value of ovals. And if that's even going to come, ovals is a very strong project. So keep those in mind. Let's talk some alpha though. Guys, I'm just looking over charts right now. The one I love the most right now is Clanosaurus. Close behind that is the SMB chart, but we'll get into that in a second. Clanos has not seen the pump that we saw across the board with some of these other projects. And I just think, I keep saying it, they are one announcement away from absolutely soaring. We have the clay makers. We have the Clanosaurus. Clanosaurus has pretty much been a stable coin around 30 to 33 SOL. It's found a nice support. And I just think there's something coming, man. And once they drop any sort of news as far as clay, going into clay makers, creating your classes, armor, and having the gamification that goes with it, I think it runs, dude. I mean, I think that's enough for a lot of degens to start getting involved in the ecosystem. So I'm taking positions. I not financial advice, but this just feels like a really good time that if you don't have a Clanosaur, I'd be looking for an entry.
Yeah. Dude, I agree, man. I have been recently, just between like work with Cyber Samurai and RareFUD and paying attention to Bach, I haven't had the opportunity to do as much research as I would like on low cap projects or mid cap projects that I think are going to pop off. But Clanosaurs have been on top of my radar, man. Hearing you, Shake, and Joe speak about them so much, all your little pieces you've done about Cab Animation, about how he's an OG in the space, I really, really want to look into him more. And one of the things I'm thinking about picking up most is that golden clay maker, dog. So I'm gonna probably, as soon as we jump off stream, I'm gonna like do some research into them and see what's going on. And dog, I might even pick up a golden clay maker today, depending on what I find out, dog, and a couple Clanosaurs. Yes, I will be using that bonk liquidity. Also, with SMB, man, I agree with you, dude. There's some huge some huge shifts going on in SMB right now in terms of governance and like leadership. There's a proposal underway to make Nam, the CEO of SMB, to kind of have SMB as a figurehead. He'll still be governed by the DAO, and the DAO will still oversee him, but it'll allow more direction for the DAO. It'll allow more, I guess, leadership and visibility to have one figurehead instead of it being so decentralized. And I think that's going to be extremely bullish, man. We've already seen the prices of SMB shoot up from 225 to 325 now. And I really think these are going to run. And SMB and Tayo are really fighting it out to see who's going to pull ahead to be that #1 project on Solana.
Yeah, I really love the SMB chart. I keep staring at it. I think there's one that I cannot stop staring at. I'm so close to just pulling the trigger, but there's a reason I'm not. We'll get into it in a second. Joe, I want to kick it over to you. What charts are you looking at right now that are just like stand out? This feels like a really good level to start scoping out, entry.
Yeah. Actually, Klanos, I'm actually big on. I posted a chart this morning. Saw that. It's kind of solidifying new support amongst old swing highs, old resistance turn support, and almost a classical fashion with some good solid volume. Just watching the AMMs at the moment, only thing that's really holding it back is like 50 listings there. If those go away, then we can see a real expansion to the next pocket, which will probably be like the 40-50 mark. Looking at that. What else? Oh yeah, I was looking at Utes on a pullback, because where they're at right now, honestly, I missed it. At 145, I was looking because I ran a fib extension and a fib retracement from swing high, swing low to swing high, and the golden pocket was the same for both identically, and it was sitting right in it. And I was like, man, this is a break or bust moment. I should probably just buy one here, and it's up like 4 SOL from that. But I think that's a chart I was looking at as well. Jelly Rascals is another chart I was looking at. And Lily, man, those are all charts that I'm looking at that look really, really primed for some more upward movement here in the near future. And shout out to Solana Mommy, man. He put me on the trade on Lunar and pumped all the way to like 14 SOL or something from 6. Cashed out on those, so that's a shout out there.
Yeah, Lunar was it's still getting really good volume. They were actually one that I was piqued my interest when they were around 8 or so. Not sure how I feel about them right now. It feels more like a pivotal moment, but there's a ton to play with right now. I actually I like the famous Fox chart. I was saying they went back and retested what was previous resistance over at 71, and had a nice little rebound up to like 75, 77. So I'm interested in the Foxes. I think that's a sleeper pick for, like coming for at least the top 3 project on Solana. They've just built so much in this ecosystem. And to me, they feel like Doodles, but with better utility, like, actual utility. I don't even know what the utility of Doodles are, but like the same art style. I love the Foxes. I think they're adorable. They're also, with the art upgrades and stuff like that you can do for having a certain amount of fame. I think there's a lot of mechanics in there that, dude, when people buy Foxes and they're in the Foxy ecosystem, like they hold on to those things. Those guys love their Foxes. They keep accumulating them. So definitely think Foxes are one. There's so many good charts out there. And I think we can see pumps across the board right now. If you find a good project that has not massively pumped over the past week or so, with all this bonk liquidity running into the ecosystem, chances are eventually people will turn their eyes to it. You just have to time your entry right. You don't want to be caught in kind of no man's land where there's no volume. So keep your eyes open for it. Dor, I want to throw it back to you. Is there anything else that you're like really watching right now to see if you want to buy anything? I know last episode we said we're not really buying anything. I think there's a couple projects I'm interested in, but I'm not aping into anything right now. And I think the only thing I did recently was Ovals, but that's because they have a bonk airdrop coming.
Yeah, I'm not like aping into anything right now either. It's like I said, I'm definitely going to do my Reno search. What is that? Research on Klanosaurs, man. It's just like they've been holding this floor price solid, dude, and they've yet to see that pump. So I'm just like, this might be the play, man. I just want to do a little bit more research on my own to build that conviction, but I'm becoming more bullish on him. Like, once again, it's like even last episode I mentioned, when you, Joe, and Shake say something, the same thing at multiple times in different chats, I'm like, all right, there's something there. So I need to look into it, and that's the primary thing I'm going to look at. And probably on the next episode, you're going to hear me about having some huge buys or something.
Yeah, I am. There's there's a lot coming out. I know Shake's been, just pretty much playing bonk, and to a T too. I mean, he's done really well with it. But yeah, guys, I cannot stress it enough. Go find the people that have been successful, especially the ones that have been calling bonk from the beginning. It wasn't even just us. Like, there are plenty of people out there that are like, look, guys are underestimating this. They bought more from their airdrop, and they've done really well. And it isn't just the Lollipops of the world, although Lollipop cooked on bonk. There's a lot of other smart traders out there that don't have quite the following.
Sorry about that, Bison. I was just going to say, man, it's like, I don't know, what influencers people are following to get dumped on all the time. But it's like, there are a lot of good traders who are talking about bonk, as you said. And notably, several Boogles, man, like DS are decentralized. He's solid, dude. There's a couple more of them too, where they're just openly tell you, it's like, oh, I just brought 10K of Sol for bonk. It's like, and they're like, oh, I'm exiting, don't feel well on this. And I'm like, oh man, if these guys are going in that heavy early on, it's like, there's something there.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, I love DS. I remember when he was degen swings. Yeah, poll from you guys. I actually want to hear this from you. Do you guys like decentralized or degen swings better? Door, what's your answer?
DS, man. I honestly, just because I don't know DS swing, so
that was his name before. Before decentralized, it was degen swings, and he changed it to decentralized. But
I did not know degen swings, man. I only know decentralized.
I don't know. I kind of like degen swings, but decentralized, it sounds more official. If you're new to the ecosystem, dude, decentralized is awesome. There's a couple of other people out there. There's also some Boogles that. Look, a lot of the people that are founding contributors to bonk were Boogles. So it was funny to see. I think, who was it? NFT Doctor on Twitter said he sold his bonk airdrop because he didn't have enough scrap to mint his pilot. And he's like, I blame Tom for all of my poor financial decisions. And I thought that was hilarious. I'm like, bro, how did you not know this was going to run? You're like, I feel like most Boogles hit on this. So, I don't know. It's funny. Everybody will miss a trade, guys. It's going to happen. This one, unfortunately, if you did miss this trade, this is the best trade I've ever seen. So, there will be more that come. Like we say, it's all about compounding gains, but this one cooked. So, hats off to anybody who took it. Let's talk a little bit about some one-on-one alpha. If you guys don't know, if you guys haven't seen, if you guys weren't in Dojo chat, Scum came out with his new line of one-on-one PFPs. They are called slimes. If you guys haven't seen them, they are so sick. I want one. This is kind of where I'm hoping to rotate my bonk liquidity into. And as soon as I said, yeah, they're going to 250 plus, the first hour, people are already bidding 200 Sol on them. I was sitting there man, if these go above 400 Sol, I'm going to cry. I really want one. And this is where I'm kind of worried because and this is why I'm saying pick and choose your NFTs that you're buying right now, because we could see just massively inflated prices because of bonk liquidity. So you really have to hit it on a fundamental level is do I really believe that the price is up because this is just where a lot of people wanted to rotate capital into, or this is up because it was a momentum trade and bonk liquidity is everywhere and people are just trying to gather into a crowded trade. And so you really have to take a step back right now. That's why we're not just aping into things. And this is why I'm having such a hard time with the Scum auctions, because I'm sitting here man, if I'm spending more Sol right now, 20% more, because bonk has just rotated into Sol and a lot of people are capitalizing on those gains and going into Scum's first pieces on this collection, I'm gonna be so sad. I want to see a price appreciation over the course of these auctions, and he's going to have about 100 of them. So it's really, do I want to go in now or do I want to go in later? And I don't know, man. I'm sitting here debating it.
Is there any incentive for having the earlier editions than there are the later?
It's kind of like in the 101 space where if you get the first edition on something like that, it usually sells for like 5x plus the other editions. And it's kind of the same thing where, it's like the provenance thing. It's almost like the first and last of a collection are always the ones that have the most premium on them. And that's one of the reasons I got into Proteon so quick, because he had those first two auctions. And I was like, yeah, I need in. And they went to 40-50. I know he's going to start resuming them more frequently here in the future. But yeah, dude, Scum's just one of those guys that I just feel like this is Scum's year, man. He broke off from D-Gods. He's now created like multiple pieces. He's made the right connections. He feels like an Adam Ape sort of guy. Like he understands the business side of things too. And I know he wants to build out slimes accordingly. I just feel like the appreciation I was hoping was there already is priced in. And I think that's like, do I really want to pay these prices right now? I don't know. So I'm wrestling with it, but the slimes look so good, dude. If you guys can get in on later auctions right now, you have to really love the art. This should not be your first 101 piece if you guys are listening to it, but they're sick, dude. They're so sick. And there's 6 of them going on right now. And I think that's one of the reasons I'm having an inner debate with myself, because if there's 6, they're competing with each other for liquidity. So I don't know what I'm going to do here.
Dude, honestly, I know you dude, once again, I want to commend you on your ability to get knowledge about the 101 space. I wouldn't be as involved or as knowledgeable if it wasn't for you. But on this play, dog, I think you should just sit this one out, man. I think you're spot on with the saying that a lot of this bonk liquidity has rotated in, which makes the prices inflated. Not saying Scum is going Arctic, and I think we'll see a lot of we'll see his pieces run in 2023. But I think you might even be able to pick them up for like 20 to 50%, man, less than what they're going for now when the market gets a little bit depressed. Because as you said, all this bonk money's running around. People are feeling themselves. People are stacked. And I just think everybody's too happy to be picking up 1-of-1 editions right now.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I do feel like, we talked about it on a few episodes back where we were talking about what meta or what industry do we think is going to have the biggest run in 2023. And one of the things I forgot about is 101s. Like I do think the 101 space will have a massive run in 2023. I think if you look at the weekly volume is sitting anywhere from like 15K to 30K, depending on how good the week was. That has so much room to grow. And we have some insanely talented artists like Scum, like Laura L, Adam Ape, John Lay, Proteon, Low. I mean, I can just rattle off a list, right? And they're all so insanely talented. So I don't know. I just feel like there is appreciation there. It's just, do I want it? Like, and one of the reasons I'm grappling with it is, do I want a SMB right now, or do I want a piece of Scum? And I know Dorian's gonna say SMB because he's biased, but like that's just a personal decision I have to make. Yeah. Anyways, go check out Scum's pieces.
Yeah, honestly, dude, both of them are good, man. I think both will provide you with the same utility. Honestly, it's like, I guess SMB a little bit better in the sense of like IRL events and attendance, but I think Scum's piece is going to do just as much justice.
Yeah, I think it'll hold value. It's just you want to know the one thing, and I wish there's a project that would come in and do this. We've seen so much liquidity get added into the ecosystem through lending, and if you could, it would have to be a different mechanism. But if you can do lending on your 101 pieces to where you can get liquidity out while not having to sell it, and like people could take the chance on funding it and possibly getting that piece at a discount, kind of like Sharky-Fi, but for 101s. Like if you could do that, that would be insane. Like I would buy so many 101 pieces because I would just be able to take a loan out against them and make the generative plays that I want to. So I don't know, man. If they had that, I would easily say I'm getting a Scum piece, but they don't. And with the SMB, I can take out a Sharky loan and make plays if I need liquidity, but I don't after Bonk went bonkers. So I'm pretty happy right now. Do want to talk about another interesting play just on a fundamental standpoint. UGS, we talked about UGS a few times on the show. Core is going to be released here. Hopefully middle of January is what they were targeting, but they also just announced their auction house, the black market. And so this is where you're going to be able to sometimes it's just holders only. Sometimes it's the public. Sometimes you have to use their Talon token. So if you aren't staking your UGS, I would go ahead and do so. But there's going to be a rich ecosystem behind UGS. And I cannot stress this enough. Like, everybody should own one UGS. Not financial advice, I guess, I have to say that. But like, if you're involved in this ecosystem, the ability to use Core to make a down payment on and put a specific, like, if I found an SMB I really liked and I was like, man, I just don't have the liquidity right now, or I want to move on this quick, I can use Core's feature to put a down payment on it and basically put it on layaway while I make the payments or pay it off. And if you don't make the payments, you default on it, and it goes into the auction house. And people, whoever funded it gets their liquidity back through the auction proposal. So it's crazy the ecosystem they're developing over there. And I do think this is a play that we should be looking after. I know we talk about NFTFi a lot. Joe, I want to kick it over to you. What kind of NFTFi plays are you scoping out right now? Because I do think a lot of these are mid chips. We see it with Sharky, we see it with Elixir, we see it with UGS, and I think they're going to start making their run up to one of these is going to be a blue chip. I strongly believe it. I think it's going to happen sooner rather than later. So where are you putting your chips in when it comes to NFTFi?
That's a great question. The only chips I have stacked at the moment is Elixir, and just because it's a large portion of my portfolio. However, I've taken profits enough on them where I feel comfortable letting that team build. But yeah, if I was looking for, coming up, that's a great question. And I kind of, I'm going to have to shift my focus and do some good research on that and see what the next maybe low market cap project is that has some legs behind it when it comes to, NFTFi. I wonder what bounty hunters are doing now. If they're, I haven't heard about them in a while, but the team did seem like they were pretty proficient at the time. So yeah, that's a great question, B. I'm gonna have to look back into that, man. I've been so hot and heavy for Bonk traded like a DJ, and I have forgotten a little bit about NFTs, but I definitely need to look back into these charts because some of these are looking prime, especially with the liquidity here. I think, with Bonk being in these 3 spots for a while, people are starting to shift a lot of liquidity back to Sol, and we should see some projects start moving here, I think.
Yeah, I agree, Joe. I mean, like, Elixir is probably the most obvious play, I would say, just with recent price action. Swerver's always on it. I think he's a great leader of the project as far as a public figurehead goes, and clearly knows his stuff. Like, Elixir is a very good product. I still think they need to work out some kinks from the launchpad perspective. I know a few launches they've had kind of been botched a little bit, but Dor, same question over to you. NFTFi is coming, right? And like we've all said this, we all believe this. Kind of want to kick it over to you. Where do you see possibly value in this space, and who do you think is going to make that jump into the blue chip status?
Yo, UGS, man, just their ability to I don't want to say like mortgage, but I want buy NFTs before you actually have liquidity for them, man. I think that opens up a door to a lot of people. One of the biggest barriers to NFTs is having the enough liquidity to get in some of these good projects, are projects that people are interested in, are these big communities, are these expensive communities, and that enables, I think that helps onboard more people. And during the next cycle or in the next coming months or whenever the bull returns, the whole goal is to be able to allow more people within the space. And that platform will facilitate that. So UGS is another one. I have like a whole research list that I just haven't had time to get to, but I need to make time for Claynosaurus and UGS, because I'll pick up 10 UGS if I need to, and a Claymaker along with several Claynosaurs. Dude, I got some liquidity. I'm just looking for a place to park it.
That's right. I don't know. Like, those are 3 really good projects in my opinion. Like, I love Sharky too. Like, I use Sharkyfi all the time. The only thing I can't stand about their website is the fact that it's so, I don't know if it's resource intensive or what, but it runs so slow on my computer where I have to like click the borrow tab or the loan tab or whatever it is, like multiple times. It takes a while for it to populate, and my computer just absolutely starts firing up the fan. So I don't know if they optimize that website and make it a little better for mobile as well. They are the platform, in my opinion. I mean, Fract is up there too. Like, we can't ever forget about Pawn Shop Nomies and Fract, but
Sharkify is
like
nice.
I like
like
Sharkify a lot
I
better,
like
man. Yeah,
Sharkify.
I've been a lone shark lately, and yeah, it's just been a nice place to like if I want to continuously compound some interest and take some gambles on some plays. Like I funded a lot of squirrels lately because I love Liberty Square. Um, and I got in at a really good loan to value. Like I was hoping I'd get some squirrels. Everybody's paid me back so far. Everybody. And that's just what happens in a or a mini bull market. I want to call it a mini bull market just because we're seeing a ton of liquidity with Bonk. But yeah, NFT Fi still remains to this day one of my strongest sectors going into 2023. And I think they have such little competition because they each fill different facets within that space. And there's still so much infrastructure that could be built alongside them and still not have a ton of competition with. So UGS is so interesting to me, dude. I do think they have a pretty nice looking chart as well. They look like they're about to start breaking out towards 20s. But we'll see. We'll see. Joe, I want to kick it over to you because I like the Utes play. And I don't know why, because I'm, Solana is home to me. I have no interest in Polygon. Like I have zero interest in Polygon. I was worried about them before, but I'm not anymore. Yeah, they don't really pose any, like Solana's just proved so resilient. I think with Bonk, it just, it's such a good use case, dude. We now have 107,000 holders and users of Bonk, which is crazy to me.
Yep.
And it's all been onboarded through a meme coin, dude. That is hilarious to me. But Joe, what are you seeing with Utes that you're like, yeah, I think there's a play there?
Yeah, so from a fundamental standpoint, I just think they paid a large portion of their market cap to Utes just to come to their chain. I think they'll try their best and foremost to try to bring them to the forefront and really expand from Utes, because if they do that, they, one, look like geniuses, and two, they can hopefully bridge more over. And I think they're going to use Utes and the platform they're building and the infrastructure as that bridge, and then they'll highlight Utes and then bring incentives from there. So my play on that is that you've seen the dump, you've seen people sell, and you're seeing that consolidation. I love to play consolidation because all you need is one big liquidity pocket to come in and it shoots you sky high, right? So that's what I'm liking from Utes. I'm liking the fundamental play that they're just the number one, they're the big fish in the little pond right now over there, and might be able to capture some liquidity, and it's priced in ETH. So I'm looking really to capture any value proposition I can with grabbing, because I have so much SOL. I'd love to grab a little bit of ETH by selling a U once it converts. So that's my thought process.
Yeah, I can see it. I think that's a really good point. Like they could definitely pump, and Polygon will do everything in their power. Obviously, they have so much buying power because they keep buying projects and everything like that. I don't know who's funding them or where this money's coming from, and I think that needs a little bit of investigation. But they clearly have the funds that they'll make sure that a project of Ute stature and Frank's ability to draw attention could be the central figure in their PFP push, because Polygon for the longest time has been more of a DeFi and gaming chain. And I know I saw a tweet coming out from Fwiz, which is Ryan Wyatt, if I remember his name correctly. He came from YouTube Gaming. I've talked about him a few times. He is the one, like, he's the super interesting figure in Polygon for me. But they could easily just pump that Polygon money into Utes and be like, yeah, we're gonna take this to new highs. We're gonna make this our central figure and just build liquidity around it. And pique everybody's interest, because if it gains already from where it is, I mean, 150 SOL is still a very good floor price. If they pump it like 3x from where it is, and they're able to take liquidity from ETH, and because you have to use WETH over there, right? Or Matic, I guess, but you can use WETH for some of their stuff. So that's the one thing that interests me about Polygon, is you can tap into that Ethereum liquidity. Dor, do you like the Utes play? I'm piqued. It's piqued my interest a little bit.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna stay away from Utes play, dog. For me, it's too high risk. It's like 150 SOL for like the potential of gaining ETH exposure. Like, yo, if you got 150 SOL, you want ETH exposure, just pick up a 4x4 or voxel. That whole problem. Nothing against Utes or D guy. I just think that Adam is a little bit better positioned if you want ETH exposure than Frank moving Utes to Polygon. I think DeGods on ETH will be perfectly fine. They're going to do great things. But Utes on Matic, dude, liquidity scares me, man. Not a lot of users. It's like the foundation is just going to constantly sweep the floor, or the Polygon's just going to sweep the floor of Utes constantly. I don't know, man. So the biggest thing that scares me about Utes going to Matic again is just the liquidity. How easy are you going to be able to sell your Ute? Because if you can't sell easy and the volume's not there, that floor price is going to plummet.
Yeah. I think you're right, Dor. Just the fact that it's going over to Polygon. Like I said, I think the DeGods to ETH move makes sense to me. But yeah, I want to. The Utes to Polygon play scares me a little bit. It's just you're really what I'm banking on if I'm doing that play is that Polygon will use Polygon money to pump it up, hype it up, and try to gain some attention from it. But
if you're hyping something up, who are you hyping it to? Like if you ain't got no users to hype up, like.
But Dor, you got to remember it's WETH, bro. So these ETH heads, it's going to be 2 ETH, right? So probably 2 ETH to them for exposure. And if they do it the right way, like if they bring in like, exposure to like concerts and these different things that might be like, subscription based things, like you could see a pop to 2 ETH. And that's what I'm thinking. So as a trader, I think 2 ETH it could be in the bag for these things. Because if you think about it, they're at like 1.5 ETH, right? Right when they pop over there. So I think 2 ETH to 2.5 ETH could be a play, but yeah, bro, it's not sustained unless they prove a proof of work. Like, what's going to sustain them, right? Like, is that going to become Polygon's IP, a Ute? Like, is that Polygon itself, the chain, going to be like Uted? Like, that's a different aspect of it. Like, you need something huge to sustain a long-term play, but I think there's a micro play here if they do it in a decent amount of time. But, bro, that bridging concept, the infrastructure, I don't think it's going to be built in time, man. I think it's going to take a little bit of time. That's a lot to bridge. The season roadmaps aren't even out yet. So I think we're all speculating. This might be Q4. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that IPG, that Iron Paul gang is more advantageous to me as a trader than the Ute would be. But just from a chart aspect was what got me thinking about a Ute in the first place. But yeah, the fundamental wise, it's sketchy.
Dude, it's like, but honestly, it's like I've said plenty of times before, I'm bearish in the short term just because there's too much uncertainty. But if there's anything, I trust in Frank, that regardless of like people have their own opinions about him and stuff, and that's fair. It's like he hasn't been a perfect founder, but if there's anything this dude knows how to do, it's market and bring hype to a project. So I'm pretty confident in his ability to do that there, and he's a very intelligent guy when it comes to that. So long term, I'm pretty bullish on it, but short and midterm, which most people care about, I'm just bearish on it.
I think that's fair, Dor. I'm kind of in the same boat. I mean, like, yeah, it's Frank, dude. Like, he will bring attention and stuff to it. Polygon does have the liquidity to do so, but I think just in the short to midterm, I think there's better plays. Like, I would, it's like it's at the perfect price where you can compare it to. Would you rather have 5 Claynosaurs or even like 4 or 5 ovals versus a Ute? And I think the upside is with the former.
10 UGS.
Yeah, 10 UGS. I mean, it's there. I mean, the narratives are there for those in the short term where you can rotate it into Utes later. That I think, if the play plays out now, like Joe said, the chart looks nice for Utes. I will admit that. So if you want to go on a technical standpoint, could rip up from here. Who knows? But they're out of the top 3 for volume on 24 hours. They're actually in the top 5 now. They were down to like 8 at one point. So just something to keep an eye on. I mean, I do think you have to look where liquidity is going to rotate to. So if Utes is a play, Utes is a play, and Joe called it. But I do want to touch over on Iron Paw Gang for 2 seconds. Then I want to kind of wrap up the show. Just a full disclaimer to everybody. I do have my supply chain Voxel Monkey listed for 100 Sol. Full disclosure. I don't know if I want to keep it there anymore. I keep teetering back and forth with the play. The thought process is, well, if I sell it for 100 Sol, then I'll bridge that over to Ethereum. I'll have 1 ETH right now at current prices. And can I snipe an Iron Paw Gang for less than 1 ETH? And that's like the whole thought process, because we also don't know what mint cost is right now too. And I think that's the big variable. If it's 0.15, great. If it's 0.35, that's where it's like, that's 135 Sol. So it's playing around with it. And then you have to like take into the fact that the supply chain voxel monkey especially will see a much more precipitous drop than 4x4. 4x4 still has the art to it, right? And supply chain voxel monkey, that's just like a free airdrop to people. So you have to play game theory there, and that's kind of what I've been doing. But I keep teetering back and forth. It's like I think I'd just rather play it safe with supply chain. I haven't decided yet. It's still listed on Hyperspace. There's still plenty in front of me, so I'm not dumping on bozos, and I'm giving a full disclaimer with it because you can see my tag Twitter in there. But I keep playing with the game theory, man, because it's so. I want exposure to Iron Paw. Like at the end of the day, I want Iron Paw. I have heavily considered just rotating all of my bonk profits into a voxel monkey because there's one just staring at me for 1,300 soul. But it's just like, oh, do I want to buy in right now, dude? Do I want to just wait till they drop after Iron Paw? I don't know. And so
I'm
Iron
waiting
Paw,
to the drop, dog. I ain't
yeah,
gonna lie. I wait to the drop.
it keeps me up at night, dude, because I think if I spent that much liquidity, I wouldn't have as much ETH exposure as I want to, because I would have to still mint 5 of them. And if they are 0.35 per mint, you're looking at what? 1.675 ETH that I would need in order to mint all 5 of those plus my free airdrop. Like that's a lot, man. That's a lot of ETH. I don't know if I want to go through with that, but I definitely want 2 Iron Paws. I think that's my main goal is I want at least 2, and I'm not sure how I'm going to play it. So just full disclosure there. I don't know how you guys are playing it.
Yeah, I was copy trading you, dog. Like when we talked about it, I think your strategy was good. I still have mine listed for 109.69. So if any of you guys want to buy it, I won't stop you. But
yeah, it's so interesting to me, dude. I want an Iron Paw. I think I just want an Iron Paw. Like that's all I know.
Same, Joe. I want
and it's
2.
just what's the best cost-effective way of going about it. I don't know if I buy at these levels. Maybe a 4x4 because I think they'll retain value better. But I mean, you should have got in when we told everybody. That was really the entry. But
what was it, like 15 sold for the supply chain voxel, 20 for a 4x4? The best hedge in a bear market? Yeah.
They held their value pretty well. But just looking at 4x4, I think the floor price on those is 110 right now. So that's a lot. It's 90 for supply chain voxel monkey. So I'd imagine at least a 20 soul floor for 4x4 if you're willing to stomach the 90 soul drop if it does drop. So I don't know what it looks like, but I just wanted to disclaim that to everybody. There is game theory to be had there. I definitely want Iron Paw exposure, and how you want to play the additions, that's up to you. Guys,
last thing before we wrap up, dog. I was just going to say, it's like I have such high conviction that Iron Paw is going to print that I don't think the drop is going to matter. So that's just me. Could be completely wrong. But I just think even picking up it's like an ETH right now to pick up a 4x4, a little over. So it's like you're paying an ETH for that plus the mint. So you're like 1.5-ish close to it ETH for 1 IPG. That might be a play, man. If these things go to 2, 3, 4x, man, you'll be looking like a genius then.
Yeah, and then we'll have a nice ETH bag too, because I think whatever ETH I do make off of it, if I buy 2, because that's the plan, I kind of want to keep over on ETH. Kind of want to make some plays over there. I do think there's some validity over there, but honestly, Sol's just been so much more fun. Like it has. I keep looking over on ETH because I do have some ETH in the ledger, but just like, what plays do I want to make? I almost bought a Sappy Seals before they ran up just because they are everywhere. They're ever present. Those guys literally won't shut up. Literally, like they're everywhere. You can see Sappy Seals everywhere, dude. So,
are we going to be, if Iron Paw cooks, are we expanding to ETH Joe as well?
I don't know. I mean, Joe's got DGOD, so he has to expand to ETH. He's contractually obligated at this point. So, and I know he'll be looking at Iron Paw as well. But yeah, we might have to, maybe do a little bit of like ETH corner, like once a week or something like that. But, our heart is always with Solana until further notice. I just think there's so much more fun and potential over on this chain versus some of the other ones over the coming years. I'd say next 2 years or so, I just see more potential on Sol than I do on ETH. That's why we're here, right? So let's wrap it up, guys. Let's go ahead and talk. Is there anything else you want to talk about as far as alpha? Maybe some notable headlines, maybe some notable Discord announcements or anything like that?
I don't really have anything else. Once again, I'll become more prepared for alpha, like after I get this research done over the weekend. It's Thursday, right? Yeah. But I do want to say, I hope you all cooked on bonk as well as we did. It was a great time. So I'm just watching the charts now, but thank you all for tuning in as always.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Joe, got anything else for us before we wrap up this show?
No, man, not at all. Take some profits if you got them on the table, and don't FOMO them back in and lose them. Take them, solidify them, or compound them. But yeah, man, have a good weekend, guys.
Yeah, likewise. Everybody, thank you guys so much for listening and tuning in to RareFUD Radio. We do appreciate all the viewers, all the support we've had, all the kind messages too. I cannot tell you how much it means when I get a random DM that's like, yo, thank you guys so much. I absolutely cooked on XYZ, or you guys helped me adopt the mindset. That latter message is even better. Like, I love hearing how people's trading styles have evolved by listening to the show. That makes my day. Like if we change one person's life in this ecosystem, that dude, that makes it so worth it. So I appreciate all the messages and thank you for all the support. Please make sure you are following us on all of our podcasting platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Make sure you're subscribed on YouTube. Make sure you're following all our Twitters, including the official RareFUD Radio account. And thank you guys so much for your support. We greatly appreciate it. And we'll see you next week, Tuesday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, for the next episode of RareFUD Radio. Have a great weekend, y'all.
Have a good one.